All right. You guys can hear me right? Yeah? Okay. Good morning, everyone. My name is Karan Nigam, and I lead our product marketing for the customer experience business at Microsoft. I hope all of you have had a wonderful Ignite so far. Lots of amazing discussions around how AI and agents are fundamentally changing how we live and work. So we'll continue that conversation today, but get hyper-focused on the most critical revenue-generating function in every company, sales. Now, sales has always been under a lot of pressure, but I think in the last couple of years, one of the things we've consistently heard from leaders, sales leaders around the world, chief revenue officers around the world, is they're going through this interesting phase right now where there's a ton of pressure to do more with less. And it's become more acute than ever before. Sales targets are going up quarter by quarter, year over year, and the resources are reducing or flat at the very best. So your targets are going up, your bosses are expecting a lot more, and your resourcing is pretty questionable. And that problem statement gets compounded by the fact that the CRM systems every company's bought over the last few years was not really built for today's time. It's not really built for AI era. Most of the CRM systems, we all know, are very frustrating experiences because they primarily depend on human sellers inputting information in the tool for the tool to be valuable, but all of us know that really doesn't happen that much. So that creates a massive problem. Information lives in silos, and of course, most CRM systems have been so deeply customized over the years, you've spent so much money on doing that you are now suddenly stuck with a system that was built for yesterday, and you're trying to use it for today, and that just doesn't scale anymore. So most sales leaders are in this problem where targets are higher, resources are absolutely in a troubling situation, and the CRM systems they loved and bought do not work anymore. But that's exactly why it creates a massive opportunity for IT leaders, for technical leaders, to collaborate closely with their business leaders, for the head of sales. We have a once-in-a-lifetime sort of an opportunity to figure out what the right tech stack will be for the new AI era. Similar to the previous wave, similar to what happened when internet was a new thing, similar to what happened when cloud and mobile was a new thing, we are entering this new phase again where you can't really use the tech stack of yesterday to build the business of tomorrow. So it's a massive opportunity for IT leaders to really deeply collaborate, understand the workflows, go and partner with their sales leaders to figure out what actually needs to happen. What are the workflows that actually lead to revenue generation, and how do we start using AI and agents to scale better? Now, sales is a really interesting function because it is primarily a human-first function. It's a uniquely human-first function. Let's talk about it. We expect our salespeople to be really good at relationship building. We expect them to be empathetic, to anticipate the needs of their customers before the customer knows how to articulate their needs. And they, of course, need to be great storytellers. These are uniquely human traits. But now the amazing opportunity ahead of us is you're able to marry these uniquely human traits with the power, scale, and speed of AI. So imagine if you're able to marry the storytelling skill of a human seller with the ability to move super quickly and reach out to customers using agents. If you're able to combine the empathy of a human seller with the power of agent, where the agent can deal with a large amount of volumes that used to rely on manual labor before. And we're already starting to see some really exciting signals. In one of the recent studies IDC did with us, we figured out that for every dollar spent on AI, you're starting to expect approximately 4x return over time. So very, very promising early signs, but it requires IT leaders to collaborate deeply with the sales leaders. Now, there's a lot of noise around how AI will change everything. So I want to make it tangible for sales leaders and for IT leaders who support their sales leaders on what that means. This is a very typical funnel for most sales organizations. For people who are not very familiar with it, give me 30 seconds and let me walk you through it so you get a sense of what I'm talking about. A typical sales funnel starts with this thing called MEL, Marketing Engaged Leads. This is marketers like myself do campaigns and a lot of different activities, events. We generate a lot of leads that go to sellers. Then the sales team spends time qualifying those leads based on the criteria the company's decided. Then they start making calls. So most companies have these things called digital account managers, SDRs, BDRs, who start making calls to customers to see if they want to connect. That's what leads to sales qualified leads. Then it's an opportunity, and that's when you have a chance to lose or win. So it's a pretty big funnel through which most leads go. Today, on the left-hand side, as you'll see, the sales handoff happens right after the first stage. So a seller then is responsible for doing all these manual activities to make sure if this lead is worth it and can we close it. There's a lot of manual work. But in the era of agents, if you see on the right-hand side now, a lot of that work where you have to qualify leads, where you have to figure out if this lead is worth it or not, you have to do research, customer outreach, follow-ups, make calls, all of that work can now be automated with agents. So suddenly the seller handoff goes down in the funnel, and sellers are only spending time on leads that are meaningful and are relevant. So that's a very tangible way you'll see compression of the sales funnel start happening in the era of AI and agents. And this is exactly where we're seeing a lot of forward-leaning firms. I think you've heard about this again and again in every session this week. Frontier firm. We're deeply committed to it. That's the kind of behavior we are seeing in forward-leaning customers. We have two amazing customers today with us here that you'll hear from, 𝗦𝗲𝗲 and Sandvik Coromant. But these are customers who've taken AI and leaned in. They're starting to figure out how does our human teams get combined with the agents to actually create the net new, to scale the results as well as create net new business for us. There are two primary metrics that every CRO deeply cares about. And all the stuff that you'll see today is in service of driving these two metrics. Number one is revenue per seller. I talked about how every team is under pressure to do more with less resources. That's why this metric is so critical. We track it very closely in Microsoft, where how much revenue is being driven by every seller and how do we increase it? Because you don't have the luxury of hiring more sellers, in most companies at least. And then secondly, of course, one of the best impacts AI can have is to make sure every seller is very productive in their everyday job. There are three primary patterns that we are starting to see. I think you've heard this a few times, but even for the sales team, this is highly relevant. How do you get started with the power of AI? So the first step essentially becomes that you use a generative AI, in our case, Microsoft 365 Copilot, to make every seller highly productive on an everyday basis. So if they write emails, their emails become faster and better. If they have to create content using Copilot, that content creation gets compressed in terms of the time they spent on it. Second is every company has a CRM tool. So how do you make sure that the CRM tool itself is getting transformed to meet the needs of the agentic era? So that's primarily about process transformation. How do you make sure that the CRM tool you're investing in is agentic first? And then lastly, this is where it starts becoming magical, is where how can you start hiring agents as teammates? How do you develop AI agents that can start acting like teammates, that can collaborate with your human sellers to drive business for you? So now you're entering a zone where in the past, if there was a section of your business or segment of your business that you were unable to address because of the lack of capacity of your sales teams, now agents can start doing that for you. So you're creating net new value for the company. So to make it real, why don't we, let me invite my colleague Julie on the stage. She leads product for us, so she will take us through the product slides and demos.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. Gosh, you're not awake yet, but that's okay. Hopefully we will change that. My name is Julie Strauss. I'm the Vice President for what we think of as the marketing and sales experiences across Microsoft. So whether it's the experiences that show up in Dynamics 365 Sales, Customer Insights, or as you will start seeing, some of these experiences also showing up inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. I have the pleasure of digging into a little more of the reality behind this slide. So what are the actual product investments we have been and continue to make investment in to make these three focus areas real for all of you guys? So first we have Copilot. Copilot exists everywhere in the Microsoft products. It's inside Dynamics 365 Sales. Obviously, we have Microsoft Copilot as well. And this is really where we are currently making a very strategic and important investment to take all of the agentic experiences we are building for sales and marketing and make them available in what we call the sales agent in Microsoft 365 Copilot. What does it mean? It means we are creating a landing page or an agent inside Microsoft 365 Copilot where we have optimized for some of the key jobs to be done for sellers so they can go and, instead of switching between different tools, have a single place they can go to do that job. One of the primary jobs for sellers is obviously getting ready to engage with customers. So one of the first scenarios you will see light up in this context is meeting preparation. So I will swap to the demo here. And now you can see I am inside Microsoft 365 Copilot. I have all our usual friends. We have chat, we have researcher, analyst, and now you also see a sales tab. This is really the home page optimized for jobs to be done for sellers on the go. It is a chat. It is not just a chat, it's a magical chat. Why? Because it takes information from CRM, it takes information from emails, from meetings, and it allows you to ask questions, and we synthesize the most important information for you. We have some seeded prompts that allow you to get started very quickly. You can always type your own question, but all of these questions will go and synthesize data from across those sources. More importantly, though, we have what we think of as meeting prep. This list of meetings, it's all the meetings that I have coming up in the next 24 hours. I'm a little bit of a slacker. I only have 3 meetings, but there you go. Let's dive in and see what that really means. I can select any of these cards, and it will open what you call meeting insights. And again, it's taking data from all these different sources. It gives me some very quick highlights first, like what's top of mind, what might be some of the challenges I run into when I meet with this customer, and what should I be prepared for. It also lists the actual opportunities I have with this customer. There could be 10 here, there's 1 in this case, and it tells me where it's coming from. So if this short summary is all I need, just to remind myself, this is all I need. If I want a deeper dive and really understand that opportunity, I can just jump, I can click the link, and it will take me right into my CRM system where I can go and learn more. I can see stuff like customer communications, even communication I haven't been part of, but it gives me context so I don't go blindsided into a customer meeting referencing something that a colleague of mine already know I shouldn't be talking about, as one example. Not that I would ever do anything like that, but just in case. So, and lastly, we have kind of the research. We have meeting overview. What's the meeting about? Who is the shareholders? Who's the stakeholders? Who's going to be in there? We have done research behind the scenes on the actual company. And more importantly, it shows me a list of the external attendees. Who they are, what their role is, what's top of mind for them, and their priorities. So this is comes out of the box for me directly in Sales Home. But I can always ask any question I want in the chat experience, not just the pre-canned content. So for example, I can ask it to summarize past discussions, and I can simply kick that off. And now, again, it will really go research all those data sources that we support, and you can see kind of key questions raised in the past, the action items, etc. It might seem like a small thing, but if you think about it, as a seller, all the different places you would actually have to go to. And the reality is, either you spend way too much time prepping. Do you actually go as a seller and do research on every single company? Do you find out the stakeholders, what's top of mind for them? Do you go to CRM and look at the latest opportunity? You likely are. But do you want to be in CRM system right before a meeting if you're sitting in the car? Likely not. So this is just one example for the Copilot experiences for personal productivity, how we are trying to really focus on the information that is important for that particular individual at a specific moment in time. So it's just taking a lot of manual work and making it available, creating impact for the sellers. We will start with this experience inside Copilot 365 in Microsoft, but we are also going to make that available inside Dynamics 365 Sales, so we have a very consistent experience for sellers, no matter where they prefer to be. Now, that's all the Copilot experiences. Now we are looking at the actual process transformation. This is the transformation that happens in context of Dynamics 365, in context of the CRM system, both from an application perspective, but also from a process perspective. Most of you probably think of CRM as a system of record. If you're a seller, you might even think of it as a system of tags. Why? My manager asked me to go and log information. I do it half-heartedly at the end of the day. That CRM system, we want to transform into a system of value. We want to make it super easy to enrich the records, with or without help from the seller, to make sure the seller has all the information they need to make the best decisions, but also that managers and business leaders get super deep insight into what's going on. And AI can really help us do that. So we think of the system of record will continue to exist. In fact, it's going to be more important than ever that you invest in it, because you need the business logic, the metadata, etc. But what is happening, the infrastructure, the data, the business logic, we are going to further empower using Copilot. As you saw, Copilot really becomes the UI for AI. CRM will not go away, but I promise you we'll make that experience magical as well. But we want you to be able to go to Copilot, ask her questions, and we will use the data in the back end. We're also going to transform the business processes using agents, and you'll see that in a minute. And we will power all kinds of knowledge sources, both inside CRM and outside. That's really what we are doing with Dynamics 365 Sales. Some of you have already seen all of these capabilities were announced on October 21st. We have the sales qualification agent, which is now generally available. It takes the top line of your funnel, helping sellers generate pipeline. So imagine you have leads inside Dynamics 365. You can decide which sections of, which parts of the leads do I want agentic help to go research and qualify. You can identify the ideal customer profile, and that's how we score and qualify the leads. You can now decide a lead that hardly would get any attention today because it has too little information. You can have the agents go and enrich and give that a beautifully enriched lead to a seller, or you can have the agents continue also engage in the close if you do transactional selling. But the point is, as a seller, you just wake up in the morning, you log into CRM, and voila, your lead has been enriched overnight. Super powerful scenario, and we will have Pia from Sandvik come and talk a little bit later for how they are actually using that internally. Then we have the next stage, which is sales close, where we also announced the sales close agent last month in public preview, which allows you to go and research and analyze and optimize the next stage of the funnel, which is really the opportunity. Deep opportunity research, and also the ability to do customer outreach, enrich the conversation further. And then finally, we have the sales research agent, which we announced for broader public preview as part of Dynamics also last month. That is really a business research canvas inside Dynamics 365 that has embedded research journeys for sales leaders, where you have a magic wand to go and ask any business question you want. So let's take a look at what that looks like. Raise of hands while I'm changing here. How many of you have already seen the sales research agent in action? Oh my gosh, that's not a lot. I'm so glad we are doing that. So let me go into my environment here. I am inside Dynamics, as you can see. Let me just wake up all my friends in here. I'm inside Dynamics, And I have a new tab called the Sales Research Agent. Out of the box, I'm already connected to this instance of Dynamics 365 Sales. There's no connection required. I can always add more data if I want, but out of the box, this just works. Speaking to hundreds of business decision makers, we have synthesized some of the key questions or research journeys we know is top of mind. One here is to go and look at the current state of my pipeline. So it's really pipeline assessment. What happens now is, this is actually multi-agent. I have 5 agents working behind the scenes. One is my research planner, my planner. It goes and says, based on the question, what data do I need? What columns in those tables do I need? The next agent say, with that plan, what analysis do I need to go do to answer the question? And in the end, you have the visualization agent that decides, based on the information density, what visualizations should I present? I didn't know what would come up here. Like, these are based on the large language model's determination of what is the most impactful visualization. If I want to go back and look at what the agent did, the full plan, I can see it here. I can see the research plan, I can see the data agent, I can see the user experience agent, which is really what decides what my UI will look like. And here you see a blueprint. It looks at my pipeline from multiple angles. As you can see, it's the same data, but it gives me the goal is to give me ideas on where to go and dig deeper. And what we're really trying to do is not display the obvious, but go and find patterns you may not be able to see, because that's the power of AI. The power of AI to go and look at vast amounts of data that no human is going to do. So we have that. I went ahead and I built out kind of a bigger research journey here, where I'm also looking at the territory optimizations, who is looking at what, etc. But something that is really, all that works out of box today with Dynamics 365 Sales. One key question we kept getting from customers, like most expensive thing to go do, but also the most valuable, is understanding my pipeline compared to target, quotas, and forecast. Dynamics support all of that. And if you use Dynamics for that, you can just continue working with what I just showed you. The fact is, many, many, many companies do not put that data in CRM. They put it in a lake. So we listened to that feedback, and we went and we added support for OneLake in here. So I will select OneLake, and we will go ahead. And I have a new definition now to review my pipeline against target. Again, the agents go to work. It creates a research plan, and it comes back with this information. That was pretty easy. It didn't seem like anything magical, but it is. Why? Nobody created a semantic model for me. Nobody hooked up that connection. The dark blue line is my target. It sits in OneLake. The blue is from Dynamics CRM. If that's not magical, I don't know what you're looking for. But that's pretty magical. So I'm not going to spend, I could do a whole research journey and find hidden patterns in here, but that is a lot of work. So what we are doing here is allowing every business leader who doesn't have access to their own sales ops team, many of us don't. They're not sitting waiting to create a report for each one of you or your sellers. This will allow that. So the sales research agent really works as a team of sales operations team. It has subject matter expert in the different data areas, and it can create visualizations on the fly. Come on, be a little impressed. Okay. With that, I have to try much harder. I can see. I will go back. So we will be announcing and releasing the connector to Lakehouse, as well as the out-of-box journeys for sales operations analysis come December. So how do you know you can trust this? We spent a lot of time doing evals. We took 200 business questions from leaders we are working with. What are the top questions you want to ask? And we created deep evaluations, a white paper explaining how we are actually assessing quality. It's about groundedness in the charts we are showing, groundedness in the feedback we give you, the explainability. You can always go behind the scenes and see the thinking of the agent. And we compared that against ChatGPT as well as Claude. We're not doing this to say we are better than either of these two. What we want to give you a helping hand to say, in this specific scenario, for sales leaders, we have optimized the model, the experience, the grounding to help solve that. So it's just to give you a way to assess quality. And it is a way for us to assess quality. Let's say we go and it's a new type of testing, right? If we go and make an implementation change somewhere in the agent, we run all these and we want to make sure the quality doesn't slide back. If I expect to see, let's say you have industry field in Dynamics comes out of the box, but you have created your own custom entity. We want to make sure we pick the right entity, right? You want the custom one, not the one we built out of the box. This is what this makes sure, that we always go and find the right information. So it's just a quality stamp for you. It's not a competitive comparison per se, but this is the only way we actually have to kind of give you that visibility. The last section I want to talk about is workforce augmentation. You might have heard yesterday we announced what we call the sales development agent. The sales development agent is going to sound quite a lot like what you heard about the sales qualification agent and the sales close agent, and it kind of is the same thing. It does the same job, but it does it in a different way. Where sales qualification agent and sales close is in context of Dynamics 365, the sales development agent can be, but does not have to be. So here we take the job. You can literally walk up to an experience and hire an agent. You can interview the agent. It's an embodied agent. It has its own ID. It's built off Agent 365. It shows up where your sellers show up. It acts as a teammate. You can chat with it as a seller. You can engage with it on Teams. And what it does is it can even take leads before they hit your CRM system. So you give them a section of leads that it go and enrich in the very same manner. But it does it as an embodied agent. So let's roll the video.
Ready to grow revenue and supercharge your sales team's capacity? Meet the Sales Development Agent, an autonomous agent that acts like a teammate, researching, qualifying, and engaging leads around the clock to fuel your pipeline. Simply give it a list of leads, and the agent does the rest. It researches each prospect, crafts personalized outreach, and sparks real conversations. Your customers receive personalized messages and can engage in natural two-way dialogue, with automatic follow-ups so no lead is left behind. It scales outreach, updates CRM, and hands off qualified leads, freeing your sellers to focus on closing and connecting. How do you set it up? Add your agent from the agent store in just a few clicks. Onboard in minutes by sharing your sales playbooks, guidelines, and company knowledge. Lightning fast setup gets deals moving forward. Test, refine, and align with company policies, building confidence every step of the way. Fully independent, yet collaborative, the agent is able to share insights, assist with reporting, and work side by side with sellers. Explore detailed activity logs for full transparency. Track business metrics and watch your pipeline grow. Includes Agent 365 and backed by Microsoft's enterprise-grade security and compliance. It safeguards your data and workflows end to end. Add Sales Development Agent from the Agent Store today to unlock your next level of growth.
Oh, thank you. I know you're a pretty hard audience to impress, but that is actually transformational. Why? Not only does the capabilities allow sellers to change the way they work, help them accelerate the pipeline growth, and really focus on what's important. It also allows you to roll these agents out as part of your standardized IT infrastructure. That means we give you trust in all layers. For the user, they can go and look at where you can observe them. You can do that for all our agents, by the way. It's not unique to this. But as the user can go and see work, what the agents are doing, but now IT is managing this identity, giving it access permissions, just like a human seller or a human individual, an ID. So it really just helps us create that transparency across the stack and accelerate rollout. And Microsoft is actually one of our key customers. They were very early on to help pilot some of these experiences. And what we have seen in a very short period of time, we have increased the sales to lead opportunity conversion by more than 15%. That's a lot. And we have enabled the seller to increase the revenue per head with almost 10%. That is huge. No, not for you. It's not. We can do much better without all of this. That's fine. So we already, obviously, Dynamics 365, we have already a huge, a very solid customer base taking advantage of all of these capabilities across industries. And we have some very key frontier companies as well that went with us very early in the journey, go and explore. Most of the capabilities that I have walked you through today have been deeply, deeply, deeply influenced by customer experiences. The multi-agent workflow you saw in the sales research agent, completely defined based on customer input. It was not tech for the sake of tech, really solving deep customer problems and getting feedback into the product. That's why we always appreciate customer feedback. And to give you an example of two very diverse implementations and approaches to implementing and testing the power of these AI capabilities, I will invite Karan back on stage for a little fireside chat.
Let's do it. All right.
I'll go back.
Thank you. I love the fact that I get to work with a product leader like Julie and her team. Some incredible work. But yeah, Julie and I can keep talking to you about slides and demos all day long because we love it so much. But it doesn't really matter unless some bold and courageous leaders start using that tech and start experimenting with it and start developing new workflows and how AI can actually be leveraged. So to make it real, one of the things that we keep hearing all the time is AI really working? Are the results really there? There's a lot of doubt. We just wanted to make sure that we can do away with all the FUD. And let's invite two customers to talk about how they're actually implementing AI in service of driving better results. So we have 𝗦𝗲𝗍 and Sandvik Coromant today here. And so I'll invite one of them at a given time and go through their journey. So with that, let me invite Pia Cedendahl from Sandvik Coromant. And she's come all the way from Sweden. So let's please, come on. Thank you. Pia, thank you for taking the time and joining us at Ignite. First of all, I would love to hear more about what your role is and tell us a bit more about Sandvik Coromant as a company.
Great to be here.
Yeah.
Well, I lead a team of a global team of digital commerce sales team at Sandvik Coromant. And we at Sandvik Coromant, we are the global leader in metal cutting tools and machining solutions. So as you see here on the slides, we work with customers in various industry segments, so like automotive, aerospace, and oil and gas.
Great, great. You were one of the first customers to jump in. Yes. We started talking to you about AI and agents, and you were like, yes, let's do this, and let's figure out how we can change the processes. So I'm curious, what were some of the challenges that you were focused on solving? And yeah, how has the sales model that has evolved for you guys? Yeah. What was the sales model you were working on?
Happy to tell you. We have implemented a new sales and support model. Like many organizations, we divide our customers into core and tail customers. And the team that I lead, the digital commerce team, the challenge for them was and they focus on the tail customers. So the challenge for them was, how do you manage tens of thousands of customers with only 10 digital account managers worldwide? The challenge here is really, how do you efficiently manage them with a low cost to serve, but also grow revenue at the same time? And this is really where the agentic journey with the Microsoft team started, because our challenge, and at the same time then discovering the sales qualification agent that Julie talked about. The sales qualification agent really, gave us the opportunity to use the agents to do the work more efficiently and to analyze and to farm our pipe of leads.
That's great. That's great. I love the fact that you broke down the process that matters so much and then figured out what are the elements that can be agentified. I love that completely. Yeah. Tell me a bit more about what were some of the way you addressed those challenges, and what are some of the results that you're looking at?
Yeah. As Julie said, it's quite time cumbersome to work with customer insights and research. So what the sales qualification agent really does for us is that it removes all the burdens of collecting these insights and in the customer journey. So basically the agent supplies us with customer insights and helps us prioritize the leads so that we can boost conversion in this customer journey and the full pipeline.
Yeah, in fact, I was talking about your example to a customer yesterday where I'm like, I was so impressed by how they've mapped every step of the journey and then had a very detailed conversation on how AI can be applied to various stages. So it's one of the finest examples we've seen. Talk to us about the results that you're starting to see.
Yes, so we have adopted a model of global. We do have a global vision. Again, we're a global company, but we start local, implement one local market, and then we expand. So the first pilot scope we did in UK, we did 162 leads. Yeah. And right away we saw the potential of the agent. Because out of these 162 leads, the SQA qualified 99 of them to the digital account manager. Yeah. And that then, if you calculate on that saved us 123 hours in lead qualification. And those would be the hours that the digital account manager would have spent in active lead qualification. Yeah. And if you translate that to some numbers, this small pilot just gave us a saving of $19,000. And you might feel that these numbers I'm giving you are not enormously, big and so on. But if you think about this small pilot and that we are going to scale this up now globally, the potential of the agent is enormous.
What I like about that is I think a lot of customers are making the mistake of trying to solve the world peace with AI. In fact, your example has taught us how just pick up one workload, get it right, and then start scaling. Yeah. So that's a powerful learning. So what's next? What are you excited about next as it comes to AI at Sandvik Coromant?
Yes, so we are in an expansion mode. We believe that we need both agents and supervisors in all regions. Yeah. And in addition to the sales qualification agent, we're also looking into the sales close agent that Julie spoke about, which is essentially the next agent to support the sales process. And with these two agents, for us, that would really give us an end-to-end autonomous sales process. Yeah.
Well, Pia, we continue learning from you. Thank you for coming all the way from Sweden. Please give her a round of applause, please. I will say I'm not just saying all these nice things because she got us chocolates from Sweden, but she's actually a great customer. All right, now Pia talked about the leads qualification process and how that's getting transformed by agents. Now let's talk about a different workload. Julie talked about the sales research agent in service of sales leaders and how they can use it. So we have a wonderful customer, 𝗦𝗽𝗲𝗬𝗀 from EY. So please, Sherry, come on the stage. Thank you for taking the time. Yeah. Tell us a bit more about yourself, what you do at EY and EY.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I came all the way from Ohio, so I think that deserves some recognition as well.
100%. Right? Ohio, please. Come on.
But yeah, so at EY, I lead a team internal, so it's called digital engagement.
Okay.
And my team focuses on product strategy, product activation, and data strategy. We all know the importance of data, right, in the role of AI. So
that's right.
I work in a global role and in clients and industries, and our focus is really primarily on accounts, obviously industries, right? Accounts, industries, and sales.
Okay.
So primary focus there.
Perfect, perfect. Well, tell me, you were, again, one of the customers who just jumped in very early on. So what were some of the unique opportunities you started seeing with AI that you're excited about?
Yeah. Well, I think one of the good things is, I mean, my team is we like to try new things, and we like to be out there, out in the front of things. But I think one of the things about EY is we are one of the biggest users, I think, of Copilot and M365, and so that's created a natural curiosity for what else is out there? How can I apply this to sales? So you can see our people are already thinking about that in those contexts. And if I think about the sellers and the seller journey, what are some of the things that, how do I close deals more quickly? How do I get access to insights? How do I figure out, I think, Julie, to Julie's point, how do I figure out, I don't know what I don't know, right? So how do I get those insights and pieces out of the data? So I think those are really the elements that I think are challenges that we face. And we look at AI, and I think the opportunity with AI is so exciting because it allows us to, I look at it as a partnership, right? So, I think about AI, and I think about, as a seller, I'm partnering with AI, and AI is actually helping me to be more effective at what I'm doing. And I think that's the super exciting part about it.
Love it, love it. I think you're one of the customers who bet early on the sales research agent that Julie talked about. Would you be able to tell a bit more about the workload and how that's changing?
So, I mean, Pia talked to you about sales qualification agent, right? And for us, I didn't really describe it. It's probably good to maybe take one step back and say, we just recently deployed Dynamics, right? So we rolled out Dynamics across our firm, across 140 countries, 80,000, I think we're at close to 90,000 users at this point in time now in a relatively short period of time. So we're very diverse. We don't have a strong inside sales, organization. We kind of have a lot of autonomy, and we have a lot of variability in the way in which we do things. So I would say our lead qualification process is probably in infancy stages right now. So we looked at it and we said, that's probably not where we want to place our bets.
That's right.
But the part, when I talk about the things that our sellers struggle with, the sales research agent is where, it's kind of where it's at, right? Because when I think about the time it takes to do something, so, Julie talked about prepping for a meeting and getting, insights and bringing those together. We have a lot of accounts, tens of thousands of accounts that don't have resources. So they don't have access to be able to pull those insights together. So that, think about if you have to do that for your account, right? It takes you time, it takes you a lot of effort. It could take weeks sometimes to pull some of that content together. And by the time you do, it's probably out of date. And even where Dynamics has views, or you can, you do reports, that's sometimes reports are our answer to get information or insights. And I would say, again, reports they're nice, they give you some data. I think, again, most people have to go ask someone to build something for them. They can't really have that right front and center for them. And reports don't learn, right? So information's out of date. They don't learn. And the thing that's really cool to me about the research agent is I can put data in. So let's say I'm preparing for a client meeting, right? And I want, maybe I want to understand more about client issues. But I want to bring those client issues, and I can feed that data. We love our Excel at EY. I don't know about you guys, but we find that to be a very big comfort zone. So we've got information maybe sitting in, whether it's a data lake or whether it's in a spreadsheet. We feed that into our research agent. We combine that with our sales data, and the agent does the heavy lifting.
I love that. I love that line. Data doesn't learn itself, so research doesn't learn itself. I love that. What's ahead? What's the future initiatives you're excited about?
Right. I mean, it's so exciting to me because Julie talked about how CRM is going to be disrupted. And we've been talking about this already. You're kind of going from your system of record to your system of action.
That's right.
And I think about the experience that someone's going to have, and agents don't need a UI to interact with, right? And when I think about that partnership between the seller and the agent's doing all of that heavy lifting, processing data, looking for trends, looking for risks, looking for all those pieces that just we can't process in that kind of, it's not humanly possible, right? So I feel like the future to me is pretty exciting. Now, I think that's going to be a significant change for people. They're not going to be used to how to working in that fashion. So I think we've got a job ahead of us to bring people along for that journey and bring people along for that ride.
100%. Since you were one of the first ones, and I know people are trying to figure out how to use AI, any adoption tip?
Sure.
One golden tip for the audience.
Well, maybe two.
Okay,
but I think the first one is, everyone is not the same, right? In the way that Pia focused on sales qualification agent, we looked into sales research agent. I think you need to look at where are my pain points? Where can I get the most lift out of the capabilities that are coming from Microsoft, and how do I put those into play? And really kind of lean in on that space first. And I think the second part is, help your people feel comfortable. I think a lot of people say, oh gosh, I don't know how to write a prompt, and I'm thinking, like, a prompt is just a question, right? Get used to and get comfortable with asking questions of your data. And I think with that comfort, we've done a lot of like drop-in sessions, lunch and learn type of things, and celebrate your people that are champions.
Yeah. Well, we are absolutely in awe. Thank you for the partnership, and thank you for the time. Please.
Thank you.
Give it a round of applause, please. Okay, I think two stellar examples, one from Sweden and one from Ohio, talking about how the power of agents in AI can actually help you transform your work. Now, one of the questions we keep getting, as we know we're in the early innings of AI, is can you help us adopt AI? So the team has done a marvelous job of starting to develop like adoption guides and assets for you. So there's a QR code on the slide that you can take a picture of. But you'll be able to find a lot of helpful adoption assets on this website. And we will continue building all these assets as we learn more about customer use cases, what's resonating, what's not resonating. So just the way we'll evolve the product based on customer feedback, we'll keep evolving our adoption assets, et cetera, as well. This is the last one. Identify how can you get your users used to Copilot. How can you pick up I've been given a signal, I have to walk off like an Oscar. Identify a use case that you can transform, and then lastly, start deploying at scale. Thank you. Thank you for your time.